Hello! So I'm in a completely different angle here. I have a phone tripod now. So what that means is I have the freedom to film from whatever place in my room that I want, and I've never picked like a single spot to film because I've always been leaning on things. So I now have the ability to film wherever I want. But the reason that we are all gathered here today is because I got my first ever VCLT. Let me cover up. And this is from my guitar player 07. I am still a baby channel, like I'm still new to YouTube. So chances are if you're subscribed to me, you are probably also subscribed to Mike and know him very well. But just in case, I will link his channel down below. But he sent me an amazing package that he totally did not have to send me, but he did anyway, just out of the goodness of his own heart. So I will be unboxing this in front of you guys for the first time. This has not been unboxed before human eyes before, so this is all gonna be done in front of you guys. I've got my handy dandy little pocket knife here. It says Cliff on it. I love my boy Cliff here. You know, normally you'd get a pocket knife with your name on it in this type of situation. Like at a general store where there's like the ones with the names on it, there's no girl names because
girls don't need to open things. Girls don't need to open packages or like cut something.
So I guess in that situation I thought I'm gonna pick a name for the pocket knife. So I saw Cliff and I was like, you know what? Cliff and I are in for the long haul together and he's gonna be opening up this package. So here we go. Also, I apologize in advance because I know already that you can hear the loud fan in the background. That's because it's really hot here and I have no air conditioning. This is the final cut. The final cut. I should not cut it towards me, but you know. This is the moment of truth. Alright, I'm opening it. Okay, should I read the letter first or last? I don't know what people do. I'm gonna look at the things first and then read the letter. So that's what I'm gonna do. So the first one, I can already see it's Gene Watson, and this, if you've been watching Mike's channel for a while, he always talks about like stories of his grandfather. He kind of like worked alongside when he did like landscaping and stuff, but really especially towards the end of his life, they really started to bond over music and a lot of these albums, and one in particular was a Gene Watson album. I know specifically with this Gene Watson album, it was his grandfather played him a song called We Robbed Trains, right? Yep, We Robbed Trains. A really emotional moment, a very emotional song, especially hearing Mike talk about his relationship with his grandfather in accordance with this song. This is so Mike, and this is an album that to have it on CD, I've not heard the full album. I just heard the song We Robbed Trains because I heard that story and I was like, well, now I need to hear the song, but I've not heard the full album, and I think right now this is the only way I'll be able to do so. I don't think you can stream it. I have my dad's old boombox that I listen to all my CDs and cassette tapes on. But first of all, look at this CD. It looks like a record. Hold on. I didn't even know that was a thing, but you know, that is the first thing. So then there's the letter, but I'm not gonna read that yet. Okay, so we've got golden hits of the Platters. Love, love, love the Platters. And my grandfather actually was a huge Platters person, the grandfather on my dad's side. So let's see, we've got The Great Pretender. Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, more like when tears get in your eyes because it makes me cry. The Magic Touch, Enchanted, One in a Million, My Prayer, Only You. Only You. You've got all the songs here. Oh! Okay, and now we've got Bach Organ Works, Anthony Newman. There's that. don't know too much about this. I'm obviously gonna have to read about this in the letter. There's some kind of significance here. Anthony Newman, organist. I love me some classical music though. If you saw my quarantine vinyl tag, which was like my first VC related video, I talk about how like classical music is a genre that I feel like people don't expect me to like. I love classical music, so this is definitely something that's up my alley and that I don't know about and I'm aware about now. Definitely gonna have to take a look at that later. All right, this letter is 2 pages long and I just sent him a VCLT and I feel like I should have talked more. Like, I feel like I talked a lot, but like, it was my first one, so you know what, okay. So it says, hey Jenna, I usually handwrite my VCLT letters, but I have a lot to say, so I figured it would be easier to type it. Okay, first of all, I just sent a VCLT and I said the same exact thing. I said, I usually handwrite my letters, but I write in like crazy cursive, so I'm always scared people can't read my writing, but like it's just kind of funny that it's the same start. I hope you don't mind. I'm pretty sure this is your first VCLT package from someone in the VC, so I'm excited to be the sender of that. First of all, yes, you are correct. This is my first VCLT. Woohoo! I was one of the first 2 people to send Emma over at 8 Vinyl Low a VCLT as well. I have included 3 items in your VCLT for you to enjoy. First, you will notice a Gene Watson CD. This is his 1980 album, No One Will Ever Know. It is my personal favorite Gene Watson album. It was only released on vinyl when it came out, and I am unaware of any second pressings or any reissues. I know it was never on CD, and I recorded my grandfather's copy of the record for you. Okay, that is so cool. Wait a minute. I get the full experience. Okay, wait, I lost my place. Oh, okay. You already know my connection with Gene Watson, and more specifically, my favorite song of all time, We Robbed Trains. So I don't really think I have much more of an explanation for this one. I know we have discussed the story on Zoom. I'm sure hearing We Robbed Trains will further make you feel and understand why I love the tune so much. My favorite tunes from the album are Raising Cane in Texas, We Robbed Trains, and Have a Good Day, No One Will Ever Know, and I've Been Down Some Roads. But you can't go wrong with any part of this album. Raising Cane in Texas and No One Will Ever Know were the hits from the album. This entire album is flawless, and though it is one of my essential albums to own, it definitely is also one of my top choices for records to have on a desert island. I look forward to knowing how you will end up enjoying this album. Yes, I have not heard the full album yet, so this is going to be my first experience with that, so. Secondly, I have included a comp album by the doo-wop group The Platters. This is their comp album, Encore of Golden Hits, and golden these hits are. Excuse me. I got a double of the album recently and knew you had to be a recipient of it because you love hearing my grandfather's stories. I know others in the VC enjoy these stories too, but I don't think any of them like quite like you do. The reason I love hearing about his grandfather and his connection with his grandfather is because it's so reflective of the same relationship that I have with my own grandfather, and I know how much it means to me. His grandfather just sounds so similar to my mother's dad, and my relationship with him and his music, and I feel like I can totally understand the stories. Every single time Mike tells a story about his grandfather, I think about my own, and I just understand how serious of a connection that is, especially like with the music and the albums and the country western music and the Johnny Cash, like especially the Johnny Cash and the Willie, just crazy. So, okay, I keep getting distracted and I keep stopping during the letters. On Thanksgiving of 2017, this was one of the albums of many I got from my grandfather that morning. Once my family members came over to the house for Thanksgiving, everyone was watching TV and sitting by the fireplace. There was a special on Fleetwood Mac on Access TV, but my grandfather was not enjoying it, even though he loved Fleetwood Mac because one of the key members to him were missing from the live performance. I can't recall which member it was, otherwise I would be able to confirm if I agree on that statement or not. Anyways, my grandfather asked where I had put the records I got from him that day, and we went to them. He pulled a handful of them out, and we went into the room where the record player was. He wanted to show me some of his favorite tunes from these albums and enjoy some of these tunes, potentially for the final time. The final time indeed was the case for some of these songs, which is another reason why all these songs he showed me that day have an extra special meaning to me. One of the albums he pulled that day was this record, and the song he showed me was Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. First of all, this tune is a killer, but as if that wasn't enough, this is what my grandfather told me with this tune. I must first say with this fact that I DJ on the side, so if I never mention that or you did not know, well, now you do. First of all, I did know that, Mike, alright? I listen, so that is important for this, because he said to me that day I get to do a DJ wedding. He thought that this was the perfect song for the bride and groom to come out and have their first dance to. Damn, I couldn't agree more. I was kind of disappointed with how my cousin's wedding went with the whole COVID-19 thing, because I was in hopes I could be the DJ for that and play that song. Not only for them, but for my grandfather's spirit, who would not have been able to attend for obvious reasonings. It's funny, when I was in Arizona. Sorry. Arizona. When I was in Arizona in January, and before my cousin and her now husband proposed and got married, I showed her this song, saying that it would be a good tune for them if they would have gotten more serious than they already were. She agreed that it was a beautiful tune, but she said that it would have to be discussed with the mister, and I understood that. But anyways, that is my story with this tune and the album with my grandfather connection. I know you love these stories. The other highlights of this album for me include The Great Pretender, Twilight Time, and My Prayer. But again, this album, you can do no wrong. A handful of these tunes my grandfather also had on 45, so I have those, which is cool too. The final musical goodie you got in your first VCLT is an album by organist Anthony Newman, playing some Bach. I remember in one of your first videos, I said this, I remember in one of your first videos you had shared a classical album, and it surprised me because other than Steve Carlson and myself, I never saw anyone really show classical music before in the VC. When I referenced that, you said you enjoyed classical music, but you did not really know much of it. I thought I would share some Bach works with you. Bach is one of my favorite classical composers and definitely my favorite classical organ composer. You would recognize Toccata, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, because it is one of Bach's most well-known pieces, as well as the fact that you've probably heard it at least once every Halloween. I get you. I'm picking up what you're laying down. Musical historians believe that this piece was composed sometime between 1704 and 1750. Kind of a wide range for it to have been potentially composed, but it couldn't have been composed anytime after 1750, since that was Bach's death year. Most musical scholars believe it was written within the final 10 years of Bach's life. The other works on this album are fantastic. The organ works you will hear on this record are just about as Baroque era classical music as you can get. You'll notice that Bach's death year is considered to be the ending of the Baroque era, and that is because Bach was really the one keeping that style of classical music alive at that point. Well, there you have it. I truly hope you love and enjoy your first VCLT package. Honey, I did. You'll have to tell me what you think of what I sent. I always appreciate your musical enthusiasm and you as a person. You're just grand. Thank you for your great friendship and being a part of the youngest people in the VC. I appreciate you lots. Happy spinning, stay groovy, and all the best. Mike. And first of all, hold on. I get the picture from the night. Oh crap. Focus. Well, you can't really see it, but I promise you that's a picture of Mike and his grandfather from that Thanksgiving that he mentioned in the letter. This was a successful VCLT. Let me tell ya. So that's the video. I really hope you enjoyed going through this VLCT package with me. It was my first one, so if I did it like a little weird, I'm sorry and I apologize, but what you gonna do? Thank you so much, Mike, for that package. I love that he like customized it for me with like his grandfather, because I love those stories, as I mentioned before. And I have probably one of the only, if not the only, Gene Watson CD in existence. So that's going with me to college. All right, hold on. You're gonna watch me put this on. I'm gonna give you a pretty sick outro. Are you ready for this?